Perfect. All right, can I just get a thumbs up? Did you guys see a recording on there that we're actually recording? Yeah, okay, great. All right, everybody, welcome this evening, whether you are here with us live or watching the replay. I'm Dr. LeTa. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, and I'm here tonight to have a discussion. Dara and I decided that we wanted to every month talk about the most pressing concerns that most of us are having, whether it's someone we know, someone we love, whether we have clients or patients. And you know, last month we talked about nitric oxide, and you know, we're going to be delving more absolutely into the importance of nitric oxide. That was just a brief conversation for those that just do not know about it. But tonight I feel compelled to talk about brain health, cognitive function, right? We're seeing more people today have memory issues, having decline in remembering people's names and so forth. And so it's a big topic. We want to stave off dementia. We want to stave off Alzheimer's and other brain-related chronic diseases. And how do we do that? And what are some solutions? What can we do about it? I'm going to be talking about some Chinese medicine things we can do and all the things we might know today. But first and foremost, most of us are gathered here through the amazing network of Prime My Body. So if you are here, you obviously know about Prime My Body or were invited by someone. And this is what's amazing, is that it is a community that has been formed around the powerful ally called hemp, cannabis, right? So it's very similar to fungus, where you know, you find out about it from someone and then someone else tells you, and it's like usually the third time you realize, okay, I got to pay attention to this. So I'm super excited. I ended up doing my capstone in cannabis, the therapeutic implications of cannabis, because I could not believe the amazing benefits it had with my parents in their 70s when they got in a major car accident. So we, as a vision statement, I just want to declare, I'm sure you're seeing it on the screen, we celebrate and empower a global family to elevate health, prosperity, and freedom for all. This is critical. I was just talking to my mom on the phone. Health is everything, right? But health is a loaded question. You know, what is health? And hopefully over the last 2 years, more of us are thinking about it. We're engaging in it. And one of the things for this time that we have together, this short time we have together, I want you to think about this. You want your body, your mind, your spirit, well, maybe not your spirit, to decline somewhat as one entity, right? So you have, you know, you have people that you care about that they might be really strong in their physical self, but then their brain is declining, or vice versa, right? Their brain, you're sharp, right? But then their body's declining. That happens kind of with ALS. So what the goal for this conversation is today is to, how can we have our mind, body, spirit, our emotion, all of it be one unit, one vibratory, magnificent, intelligent being, where you're all, you know, you're acting as a whole. Okay, that's important, and that's what we're going to delve into today. So one of the things is that we talked about last month is that there's a lot of stressors. I mean, as you know, we have something very terrible going on in a different part of the world with Ukraine, and there's a lot of stress. But this is what I know. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. Okay, there is always going to be some sort of crisis at this point, whether it's not an environmental crisis, climate crisis, a financial crisis, a political crisis. Someone in your life is having a crisis. That's unfortunately almost pretty consistent. You have the power. I'm here to remind you the power that you have to discern and filter and rename and get curious and ask different questions and ask yourself, what role do I have in this? What's my play? Like, what do I have? Skill sets, resources? Do I have time to put into this? Do I have energy? Do I have money to put into this? Is this my urgency? And not let it affect you physically. Stress is actually not a bad thing until it really affects you physically. What happens with stress? Our heart rate rushes, our muscles start to contract, our cortisol is shooting up. So we have a lot going on. So regardless of what's happening out there, you have a choice on how it affects you, your spirit, your emotion, your physical self. And that's the power that you have. So I want to remind you of that. We are here because, first of all and foremost, I love to talk about the things that our body naturally makes, okay? Your body naturally makes cannabinoids. Your body naturally makes CoQ10. It naturally makes nitric oxide, right? So these things that we naturally make, we know we need, okay? So when you do not make enough cannabinoids in the brain, this is when the power of a supplementation can really give the brain the nutrition that you need. So become healthier, of course, with the power of hemp. This company is around hemp. And again, regardless if you are a part of the company, regardless if you buy products from the company, I'm here to educate you on an overall approach to what you can do for free, some self-care strategies, tools, foods you can eat. Absolutely. We're going to do a holistic approach today, but also why Prime My Body has positioned themselves as one of the leaders offering things that, you know, we really need. So we're talking about brain health. We're talking about cognitive function. And as we know, you know, if you know anything about the United States, the NFL football league, we know there's chronic traumatic encephalitis, there's brain injury. We've been able to study the brains of football players because they've been hit over and over again, but they've also have had so much research, even with one hit to the head, one concussion, and the effects it can have over a lifetime. So again, it's a little bit extreme to talk about NFL players, but I will stress that the research that we've had, the brain mapping, is profound. And if you haven't seen that Will Smith movie about the doctor from Africa, I strongly recommend it. It is really for everybody. And we have been so fortunate enough to have Dr. Chen Rong, part of our medical advisory board, doing this research. There's been Forbes picked up an article, which was very, you know, prestigious to be in, just looking at brain scans after one dose of Prime My Body's hemp extract. It's really, really phenomenal. So if you're one of those people that loves brain scans, that wants the research, that, you know, any kind of information that we can get to you so you can understand the one dose of what these supplements can do for your brain, then circle back to who invited you to this webinar. So first and foremost, I mentioned a few minutes ago that we make these cannabinoids, okay? And if you're new to the endocannabinoid system, of course, I don't want to take the time today, but simply put, you have this conductor, and I grew up playing the violin, so I think about the symphony. You have that conductor conducting everything in the body. So whether it's the drum section, it's going to say, hey, hormones, I want you to secrete this, or it's the violin section, which is going to say, okay, this is your cardiovascular system, we need to rev things up. So it is literally, this system is going to be secreting and making on-demand cannabinoids based on your situation, okay? And it's phenomenally brilliant system. There are receptors in your brain, in your gut, all over your body, working harmoniously to make sure that you are, on point, present, that you are not revved up, hormones are balanced, that you are trying to get back to homeostasis as quickly as possible. Now, I will say that anytime that we have in a clinical trials with humans, a diagnosis, your endocannabinoid system is not working. Okay, so if you know someone that has a diagnosis, we already know from human studies, your ECS is not making cannabinoids, therefore you want to supplement. But for other people that don't have a diagnosis, when, why, how much, how long, we're going to get into that. All right, so as an overview, Prime My Body does offer amazing products. As you'll see on this screen, we have a product called Focus, which I'm going to delve into today. And I'm probably going to talk a little bit about Calm, but I'm going to save that for the anxiety month that we're going to do next month, I believe. And then there's Shield, which is the immune product. So we also have a skincare line. The reason this is important is because skin is the first barrier. This is the first impression. Okay. And this is not a superficial product. I can't stress enough that I've taught outdoor fitness for 20 years in Santa Cruz on the beach, and I have not taken care of my skin. I mean, even if I always remembered sunblock or had green vegetables in my blood. I got skin sunspots, right? So it's, for my patients that have acne, especially my teenagers, for certain people that are really, it really hurts their self-esteem. And it's not from a shallow standpoint. This product has been phenomenal. And if you want to see the before and afters of hundreds of our clients and customers, we can absolutely direct you to the part of the website that shares it. It's been really profound. As you know, we are a cannabis company, so we are going to have a slew of products. We actually have a whole line of other stuff coming down, but for now we have a topical. We have something for your pets, of course, because they need stuff just as much as we do. We have a product, it's really a system to reset our bodies, especially after 2 years of the pandemic. People overate, they overdrank, their metabolism, they're sitting, they're working from home. And we know that what you put in your body is how you feel. And chronic disease starts with the food. So I'm super excited to be offering and sharing this through Prime My Body. It's called 180. And it's about a 2-month protocol. You do a reset in about 28 days, and it's really, really incredible. I don't want to delve too much into it because I want to get into brain health. But as you can see from the slides here, that if you feel like you're sluggish, especially in the brain, but also in energy, if you feel like you've gained some fat mass you're not excited about, if you feel toxic, even emotionally, then this is a program that you might want to look into. Of course, for people that have excess fat mass, it is amazing, but it's really for most people, as far as I can tell. There's been just a couple cases where I say, no, not right now. But yeah, it's been pretty phenomenal for these people that have gone through this transformational program. It's been really amazing to see. So if you were here with us last month or were able to see the replay, we talked about heart health. This trilogy product has nitric oxide, it has cannabinoids from hemp, and of course it has CoQ10. So this is absolutely one of my most favorite products. This reformulation really has been profound for hundreds of my patients just in the last month or two. So let's get into brain health. Okay, so this is a loaded topic, and I really wanted to just discern today for the time that we have, just to get the ball rolling. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. You could be 16, you could be 68 or older. I mean, all of us, most of us, I would say, are concerned about brain health. So what can you do? Well, the fundamental principles that most doctors say is physical exercise regularly. Okay, food and nutrition is going to be a huge piece. Now, most Western doctors I know prescribe the Mediterranean diet for this. I would have to, somewhat agree. I definitely like to look at the person in front of me. I think we're all different genetically, constitutionally, and of course, our lifestyle. Some of us have a lot of phlegm and mucus. Some of us can't eat certain foods. So food and nutrition is a big piece to brain health. I'm going to give you some specific, some suggestions around this. Medical health. Why am I including this? Well, a lot of us don't like to go to the doctor. All right. We've had maybe a bad experience. We're not interested. We don't want bad news. We put it off. But making sure your labs are done every year, every other year is going to be important for brain chemistry. Our hormones are changing. We're being exposed to different environmental toxins, EMFs, especially with 5G. So even if, we don't know what's happening with our exposure, keeping this going is going to be important. So just looking at biomarkers, look at what you can measure. Okay. That's important. Sleep and relaxation. Okay. I included relaxation because I want to remind people that I want you to be managing your energy, not your time. Okay. So with relaxation, right, as I mentioned before, a little bit of stress is a good thing, right? You wake up in the morning, you're excited, you have stuff to do, there's energy. But when your energy wanes, okay, it could be a large meal at lunch, it could be a sugar crash, maybe a caffeine crash, maybe you didn't sleep well last night, maybe there's stress. This is when you want to start retraining your system on how it's responding to the lack of sleep, to the stress, to the sugar crashing, etc. Okay. So practicing this way of being, of relaxation, is going to help overall your brain health. And I don't want to go into the little teeny details of it, but I want to maybe at a later point. Now, mental fitness. What does this look like? Well, Just to give you a couple ideas, there are things like brain gym. If you cross the different planes of motion, right? So you have the horizontal, you have the vertical lines. You know, the one thing that you learned as a kid is to tap your head and rub your belly, right? Writing a phone number with the other hand, right? Driving a certain way, eating different foods, remembering someone's name, really practicing this way of mental fitness. And this is, again, a loaded topic. You could do speed reading with Jim Quick. I mean, there are so many ways. I love being creative with my patients. I always tell people, learn a language, pick up a new instrument, learn a new song. How can we create new neural synapses? Okay. Trying new things is absolutely the best way for mental fitness. And there's a slew of other things. And social interaction. Okay. We were physically distant, but that didn't mean that we were socially distant. And now that the world has opened up, it is really important social health. I mean, they have done so many studies with centurions. If you're social, they live longer. Doesn't even matter if they're smoking cigarettes. Okay. So again, social interaction. All right. So foods you can eat. So the top ones that are recommended are green leafy vegetables, fatty fish, and again, sorry if you're a vegan or vegetarian, berries, tea and coffee, and walnuts. And I can go into a little bit around this. So green leafy vegetables, as a reminder, are what? They're kale, spinach, collards, broccoli. And the reason that we say these are rich for the brain is because it has vitamin K, it has something called lutein, it has folate, and it has beta carotene. Okay, so these plant-based foods help slow cognitive decline. And then as far as the fatty fish, it's just omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so if you're not a fan of fish, please, you can get your omega-3s in flax seeds, avocados, and again, I put down walnuts. Now, as far as the berries go, I mean, I'm a huge berry fan. I mean, I eat 4 different kinds. Well, I'd say 3 consistently every day of my berries. So they, you want to do different colors, right? Because the different pigments are going to be good for memory. But I won't give you my history with Harvard and Brigham Young's Hospital because I spent a lot of time there and my sister was sick. But strawberries and blueberries, if you do 1 to 2 servings a day, they showed that your memory declined up to 2.5 years less, right? So you can stave off your memory declining 2.5 years or more if you consume 1 to 2 servings of blueberries or strawberries, a week. So that helps. Now, as far as the tea and coffee, you know, in Chinese medicine, it creates dampness and heat, but this is about the caffeine. Okay. So short-term caffeine boost helps with solidifying new memories. Okay. So we're saying about 200 milligrams of caffeine. So again, you know, you decide if you're someone that wants to do caffeine. If you don't do caffeine, don't start. Now, walnuts, we call them hu tao. They even look like a brain. Okay, so in Chinese medicine, they're an herb. They're an excellent source of protein, of course, and healthy fats. But 1 walnut, okay, can improve memory. They did a study down in UCLA, I think it was like 7 years ago, where they, you know, consumed walnuts and it improved the cognitive test scores like big time. So of course we know omega-3 fatty acids, but it's also high in ALA, which is alpha linoleic acid. Okay. So again, you want, it's going to help with your blood pressure and it's going to help you for cleaner arteries. So it's going to be good for health, but it's great for brain. So get your walnuts in. Oh, the last thing I was going to say about walnuts, because they're brain stimulant, we say in Chinese medicine, do not eat them after 6 p.m. Okay. So again, you decide. Some people can't do caffeine after 2 o'clock. Some people might not be able to do walnuts after 2 o'clock. So I say 6 o'clock. So things you can take, right? So we went through activities, we went through food. I want to go through some things you can take. First of all, focus hemp extract. Okay. I want to go into the details of focus because it is one of the most phenomenal products that we offer. It's our flagship product. It has CBG, cannabidiol, which is the stem cell cannabinoid, the precursor before it gets to CBD and THC, okay, which is non-psychoactive. It also has CBD, of course, and it's formulated specifically to hit the brain in less than like a few seconds and give your brain the nutrition it needs to resuscitate the endocannabinoid system, to literally create that harmony. So it helps with brain fog, mental clarity, memory, and And it's a tincture that I can't stress enough. I'm just going to mute this woman, Donna. Okay. All right. So then there's calm extract. So either sometimes the brain is sluggish and sometimes the brain is overactive. Okay. So there's going to be a difference on when you would want to take focus and when you would want to take calm. Okay. We have a webinar coming up that's going to really distinguish some of these products on the kind of the subtleties of it. We have core nitric oxide supplement, of course, fish oils, there's supplementation. And I don't want to go into all the supplementation, like the peptides and all the things that people are doing now for brain health. I want to be really mindful of that because you could go down a rabbit hole. I live in the United States and marketing is unfortunately all about money. And so if you're really wanting to focus on brain health, start with all the things I've mentioned so far and the things I'm going to include on the next 2 slides before getting into all that. And then as far as mushrooms, I always recommend a nice mushroom supplement, whether you're doing the Stamets stack, you could do reishi, lion's mane, chaga, a lot of the mushrooms help with brain health. Okay. So because I'm a Chinese doctor, I thought it would be super fun to share with you what Chinese medicine says on brain health. Okay. So we approach anyone that has memory decline, or of course, if they have, Alzheimer's or dementia, but if someone's wanting to improve their cognitive function, there's 3 aspects that we do. Number 1 is we help you stimulate your nervous system to improve all mental and physical functions. And we do that in a number of ways. And I shared that on the next slide. We increase blood circulation to the brain. Okay. So you can also, in Qigong, we'll do stimulation and we do breath work and we do a lot of things to activate the qi, to activate the blood. And then the third one is we're increasing the blood circulation to the extremities, right? The peripheral, your feet, your toes, your hands, the peripheral parts of the body, and that will also improve physical function. And I'll tell you why. You have meridians all over your body, and yin turns into yang at the extremities, right? So if people are getting cold hands and feet, if they're getting sweaty palms, these are symptoms, right? This means your body's having to work harder and it's taking resources away from the brain, okay? So in Chinese medicine, we say we want you to exercise daily. We want you to maintain a positive, hopeful outlook towards the future, regular exercise, deep breathing exercises. These are excellent ways to oxygenate the blood, to get that blood and qi to all parts of the body. And in Qigong, specifically, we do things like shaking and knocking and, breath work. And the reason we do that is to get the blood to the different areas. And of course, Chinese medicine, Chinese herbs absolutely will help with brain function. But as far as lifestyle, what do we say? If you're wanting to help create healthy brain function over your lifetime, this is what we recommend. 7 main things. We recommend small, frequent meals instead of a few large meals. And again, take this with a grain of salt, right? I'm sharing with you what Chinese medicine says, but of course, we're all unique, individual, sacred beings, and I want you to do what feels great for you. Of course, overeating is not a great idea for the brain. We want you to stop when you're about 80% full. If you have over fat, we want you to lose some of that weight because cholesterol levels are going to be affected. You are going to affect your brain if they're elevated. So that's why I want you to be measuring every year, every 2 years, based on your age, your labs. Number 3 is we do encourage more white meat and less red meat if you're a meat eater. We've seen the consumption of red meat just be too high, especially in the 90s. It got really crazy in the first decade of the 2000s. And so we're wanting to tailor that back. Number 4, I've been mentioning vegetables, right? So you can look at vitamins A, B1, B2, C, and E. Those are really great for brain health. We want you to stay away from fried smoked barbecue foods. They are absolutely not good for you at all. I missed a number here. Number 6 is stop smoking, avoid drinking alcohol. If you are a smoker, there are things like vaporization. There's edibles. There's, chewing gum for nicotine. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do for that. And aluminum. Okay. So if you have contact and exposure to aluminum, which are found in antacids, cookware, aluminum foil, if you eat out of canned goods, that can affect, we've seen it affect brain chemistry, okay? Aluminum, so definitely be mindful of that. And if you feel like you've been exposed to aluminum, you can drink steam distilled water, okay? So that's gonna have a chelating effect in your blood to remove any sort of unwanted aluminum in the body. And the last thing is, again, I want to encourage a diet full of nutrients, right? So raw foods, raw fruits, raw vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds. Of course, B vitamins are great for maintaining nerve health, okay? So what I wanted to do is stress that there are so many things that you can do around self-care, around herbs, around food, around supplements. I'm absolutely the Prime My Body range of supplementation to maintain cognitive health. Because if you don't feel good in your body, in your brain, if you don't have a clear mind, you're scattered, right? Cyclical thinking, that's chi moving, but you're not going anywhere. Okay. And if you, when you remember someone's name or you remember to do something, you know, it feels so empowering. You feel present. And I really feel passionate about this subject. My best friend's mom got Alzheimer's at age 51. I mean, it is incredible. And she was so healthy. She lived a long time because her physical body was healthy. And so this is passionate for me to remind you what I opened this class with today is I want your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, of course, your brain body to all be one unit. You do not want your brain to be really strong and your physical body not, or vice versa. Because when we decline our health, you want it to be one unit and a nice, easy decline. It doesn't have to be a 20-year decline. So the last slide is, you know, if you want to change the world, it begins with you. The tagline of my business is start with yourself. You know, we feel very unempowered sometimes with things that are going on in the world, especially if it's around the world. And I say to myself, the most important thing you can do for yourself is to take really good care of yourself. And when you have more energy and more time and more money, and whatever it is, then you give unto others and bless them with no expectation, love up on them. But if you're at a place where there's an area of your life that you've been avoiding and need some love and attention, that's where you start. And I believe that when you start with the brain, when you start taking focus or calm or any of these products, it starts waking your brain up so you can move into that place of feeling like, all right, I can give my gifts. And that's what we want. We want to live in a world where everybody is present and giving their gifts. So I'm so glad you were here. We keep these to 30 minutes just so we can pop on and off and just share a topic that is, you know, important to us today. And I hope you got something out of it. You can always reach out to me or Dara if you have questions. We'll post this in our Facebook group and on the YouTube channel. Feel free to continue to chat with us. And yeah, just glad you're here. And thank you for doing your part and spreading your joy. And I'm just grateful to know that I'm part of a community that believes that health is a lifestyle. So I'm glad to be here, everybody. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you